So this is, more relevant to people who are in the field of technical development, software development, but it is always useful for anyone related to the industry, even if they are not coders, so that they understand the process. So it will still be a very good learning opportunity for everyone, whether you work in the tech industry or not. Um, Let me share my screen, and we can definitely start with this session. So can you see my screen? Please, someone give a thumb up. Thumbs up.
Yes.
All right. Let me give a brief introduction why you should learn it from me. I have been in the industry for 15 years now. I have co-founded multiple tech startups, and few of them have gone international as well. This is my fourth tech startup. I started in 2010. I co-founded Bug Dev Studio, a game development studio. I got incubated in one of the top accelerators, and also then when the AI hit the road, we also hop on the bus of AI. So started with Omno AI. It was a services company basically, and we started developing different products in the sports, traffic, and retail industry. And one of the prominent product was the Athletic AI, which went to be a separate entity. And now I have moved to United Kingdom, and here I am starting another services company, just like Omno AI, at RemoteDev, but catering to the larger audience this time. So all these efforts that we are making are under the umbrella of remote. We are training people. We are um, giving these opportunities to learn with us. So if we want to grow, we want everyone to grow with us. And in the past, we have achieved uh, some recognition as well. The Pasha Pakistan Association of Software Houses award. They held this ceremony every year, and in the year 2025, we were the startup of the year, and we were in the AI technology. We were runners up. We got a silver medal for that. And in 2024, Epicta is Asia Pacific ICT Awards. It is basically 18 countries, including Japan, China, India, Pakistan, Singapore, Australia, South Korea, and other Southeast Asian countries. So there are a total of 18 countries which participate. So we won 2 awards there. We were not the top companies, but still we were able to win bronze award in 2 categories: one the startup of the year, and other retail technology, as we were building a retail technology in AI. And we also won the nationwide category in Google Cloud Competition 2024 in Gen AI and AI category. So let's, without wasting any time, let's start with the topic today. What is CI/CD? Simply, it is just automating your path from code to deployment. It is a time-taking and error-prone process. When you build something, then you have to deploy it so that people can use it. And to do it safely, if you are doing it manually every time, since humans are prone to making errors, you can always break something in a production environment. So it is always safer to use some automated method to deploy your applications. So that's why continuous deployment is important, and continuous integration is also important, because as you are working, you are writing new code again. As we can humans, we can make errors if there are any codes which can be exploited, which can cause bugs. So you can, in continuous integration, you can always test your code before uh, you send your code to production deployment. And this overall process, it has different steps. So we'll quickly go through all these steps so that we can learn how this is set up. So I am not going to into depth of each and every process. So so that we can finish this within an hour. So in an hour, I will try to explain as much as I can these different parts. So first part, of course, is preparing the tools. You must have initial tools to be installed, to be available on the any deployment environment where you are going to run your production environment. And then after this, you can integrate your continuous integration, and then you can also automate your deployment. So we'll get with the preparation of the tool. For this particular, let me unshare and share screen so that you can see full screen to go through all the process that I'm doing. So just bear with me for a minute. Let me reorganize a few windows so that it is easy for you. So I'm using a single screen because while sharing screen, multiple screen makes always impossible to work with, but it is also very hard to work with a single screen while you have to move back and forth across multiple screens. All right, I think we are ready to go. Let me know when you can see my screen. Somebody give me a thumb up. All right, thank you, Vyata. All right, I hope you can see my screen. So let's start with creating a virtual machine. I am using GCP, but if you are, you can create your account on AWS, Azure, GCP, or any other hosting, GoDaddy, Bluehost, whatever you are comfortable with, as long as you can get SSH access to that particular hosting, it's all okay. So these are a few previous instances that I have created in our previous sessions like this. So for this one, we'll create a new instance, but if anything goes wrong, because while installing these software, sometimes installing these software is not very straightforward. You get into the errors. If we get into the errors, I have a backup instance already available for us. But let's hope everything goes smooth and we kind of don't hit any roadblocks. So I'll start with creating an instance. You can name it anything you want. So we can start with CI/CD. For the data protection, you can like different assign different backup plan as well. Let's not go through this. This is all set up. I'm okay with the default configurations. The only thing which I might change would be the storage, but I think this is good for this current. We have like a 10 GB, and I think this is okay for this current session that we are having. So I'll create one. It will take some time um to to get this virtual machine started. So meanwhile, if you have any questions so far, you can ask. But I haven't even covered anything. But if you like to ask anything while this session is starting up, sorry, virtual machine is starting up, I can answer those. So we have a good strength of 39 people. Very good. Good feedback for me.
Uh, can I ask something?
Yeah, sure, definitely.
Uh, Actually, I just joined, so can you please uh, give a quick overview so that I can follow up?
Yeah, so basically we are learning CI/CD today. What is CI/CD? CI/CD is basically continuous integration, continuous deployment. It is an automated way so that you can code and deploy automatically. You don't have to do it manually every time because you are writing new code. Then you have to release every time you have some stable build. You can it's a time taking process and you can make errors as well. And in a production environment, your software cannot go down. Otherwise, you will lose your customers. So to be safe, it is always a good practice to configure a CI/CD pipeline to deploy your software. So we are learning this. So we have just started and we are preparing our tools. We are on the first step now, the part one, preparing our tools. And for preparing our tools, so we basically started with creating a virtual machine. The virtual machine is now okay. So the thing that we need to understand is that it has an IP address here. And also we need to see if we can access it. So I need to see if any SSH keys are available for this one. Since there are no SSH keys, I might need to add a few. So for that, I will copy something from my local machine so that I can. So SSH, instead of using password, they use public private keys. So I will copy a private key from my machine. I'll go to SSH folder and I will see which SSH keys are available. And the one I am using for this one is oyster key dot public. So I can copy this one and then we can use it. Sorry, SSH keys. We'll add an SSH key here and we'll save. Let's say you can moderate if someone wants to ask some questions or if someone post anything in the comments. Maybe if I'm not audible to someone.
While we created the virtual machine, these SSH keys are not auto-generated.
They can be auto-generated if it's based on what configurations you have done. Uh, Google Cloud is a complex thing. You need to learn a lot. It has its own learning curve. So it can create, but you can always add from your own computer. So it's always you can generate internally or you can generate externally and then add the keys. So it's all right. All right. So I have copied the IP for this one. This is the IP of our instance. If I open it in the browser, nothing should happen. But if something happens, that is because the security or firewall that we have attached with this particular instance that has permissions to open certain ports to this. For example, if we go here into the firewall session, we will see that many ports have already been open, like 4100, 4201, 3001. This from the security perspective, this is always a good idea to close as many ports as possible and only open those ports which are required for your usage. So this you can handle from this, but let's not go into these details. That's another topic. Let's get back to CI/CD today. Okay, so we have copied IP. Let's try to log in through SSH. This is the command you need to get the private key. So public key we have added to the GCP server, and now we have to give the private key. So private key is our password, and it will server will use the public key to decode this private key. If the username was Aleem and this was the IP, and now we have got access to the new machine that we have created. So now we will start preparing tool. The first step would be to install the Docker. I have also created a document for you that I can share after this one, but I will go step by step to install the Docker. You can go to the Docker, of course, Docker site, and you can install based on which kind of operating system you are using, Ubuntu, Debian, and anything that you are using. Since we are using Debian, so we'll go through this. I can skip quickly. I can run this command since there is nothing installed or because it's a brand new instance, but still we can run this command to see if something is already there, it will delete it. These are the command to basically download and update the local packages. You don't have to worry what they say. So this is the official documentation. Whatever they are saying, they must be right. And I don't have to worry about anything else. It may ask, some permissions from me while it is installing. If not, that's okay. So right now I have copied this command and ran this one. And if this one goes successfully, this is the last command that we need to run to check if Docker is running normally. It will take a few minutes since I'm doing live, so it it can take some time to install few things. So you have to wait. The only blocker that we'll have if we don't hit into any other blockers technically. Okay, so sounds like everything is working. It was able to run hello from Docker. So Docker is conveniently installed. So from we have done the step one. I will share the link later on with you so that you can also do it. Now we can create a sample application. For this, I can create an application using React probably. So to do that, let me open another window on my local machine. Not so this terminal I have connected to the current CI pipeline. Sorry, I mistyped CI/CD as CI/CI pipeline. Sorry for that. But this one connects to my local computer. Let me go to the folder where I normally create the project. RemoteDev. Okay, so here we can create npx. Here, create. I think I can, instead of typing this, I can copy paste this command from the document. So we can create this document so that you know how to follow this document. Let's use this document. So this will create another React application in the folder. The name of the folder would be CICD/Jenkins. All the developers who have worked with React, they know this. You need to install a React CI command line interface (CLI) to run this command. So if you don't have a CLI installed already, and if you run this command, it will probably give an error that this package has not been found. But if you don't have, you can Google it how to install or ask Gemini or ChatGPT. Our application has been created. We can go to CI/CD Jenkins, CI/CD, and we can npm run start. It should be running somewhere. Okay, so this is our application which is running, and we can test it out. Let me open this application in an editor window. This one. CI/CD Jenkins, open. All right. So I have changed my code to CI/CD pipeline. So this is the one which we are running right now. Okay. So the step 2 of part 1 has been accomplished. Well, like we have been able to create the sample application. We can then create a Docker Compose YML file for this one. But before doing that, we can okay, let's create a Docker Compose YML file. And why this is important, because Docker can make our job very easy. It is independent of operating system. So if you are using a Windows computer, someone else is using a Ubuntu computer, some may be using Apple Macs. And while you are deploying your application on server, it may have a Debian or Fedora operating system. So if you are developing if you are using Docker, it won't matter if you are running it on any operating system, because Docker will take care of its internal configurations on its own. So Docker is a tool that makes that makes separate containers for different according to the requirement of the application. So if someone is working on Windows and share the code with someone working on Mac OS, so it won't be a problem for them. So we'll create a Docker Compose again, where we have to create this file. We can follow the document for this. So to create a Docker Compose, we'll go to the server. We'll create a directory. We can call it anything we want. So this is the server. mkdir is a command to create a directory. So we can call it my Jenkins without any spaces. Let's put a hyphen. And in this file, we can create our file. First, we need to change the directory. CD command is for changing directory, and to change directory, we can also check if our directory has been created or not. So ls is list command. So we can see our directory has been created. So we go to cd my Jenkins, and here we are. Now here we can create the file. Sorry. Sudo command, again, it's a new one. Sudo is for a super user. So, and nano is the editor that we can use. The editor has now open. I can type anything. Now we will type some configuration. So since we don't have much time for this, we have only 1 hour. So I will use something which is already been created for us. So we are creating this Jenkins file, but we do not need everything. We only need at the moment there are 2 stages. One is building and testing stage, and the second one is the deployment stage. So for now, since we are setting up for continuous integration, we can take this part only, and we can kind of paste this, Control X to save. The Docker Compose.yml is the file that Docker needs. Docker understands, how to run this particular file. Now let's go through the contents of this file. Sorry. Uh, I need to, okay, I think I have put the wrong contents into this file. Apologies for that. I can control. Hello. Yeah. So we'll create it again. See the content into the document. So let's go through the contents. It is going to use the container version 3.8. Every software has like different versions. For example, Nano has 7.2. This one has 3.8. It is going to run a service. The name of service is Jenkins. Jenkins is a software which basically makes CI/CD very easy. It gives us a user interface. If you want to learn more about what Jenkins is, you can Google about it. Jenkins, they provide a software build great things at any scale, the leading open source automation server. So Jenkins is an automation server which has different plugins which helps you deploying and automating any project. So this Docker Compose file basically installs Jenkins, and it then runs the Jenkins on different. We have provided different ports. We have provided different privileges of this host as a. For example, when you are installing, you provide different permissions if this software can use any files or systems or not. So this file is basically a template to tell our Docker what we want and what this application want and what we want to install. So this is Jenkins long-term support. LTS means long-term support, and it works with JDK 11, which is for Java development kit. So again, I have created a Docker Compose file. This will help us running our Docker file. Let's go to the next step. After creating a Docker Compose file, we can run our Jenkins, because Docker Compose file contains the information about it. And to run the Jenkins, we have a very simple command, which is Docker Compose up and -d. Sudo again, so for super user permissions. Docker Compose is the command to initiate Docker CLI. Up is for starting up a Docker image, and /d is to run it in the background. It says a Docker Compose um, is not found. Let me see what might be the issue for that, because we pretty much installed the Docker, as I remember. Or maybe Docker is running sudo Docker -a. This is running. I may need to reconnect with this particular environment. Um, for that, I would need the IP of this instance. Let's restart it and see if something. So again, I have a backup server available for this, but let's not go there. Let's try this one once more time. Terminal. Sometimes when you install application, you need to restart your terminal before uh, these applications are available into the CLI. But if it won't work, then we'll either reinstall Docker Compose or we will switch to the, I think we have to use a different terminal to connect to the fallback plan B. Or I can go and see why Docker Compose is not installed. It was on Debian. So it has brought us back to the same one. We ask it to update Docker CE, and Docker Compose plugin as well. So sudo apt-get install. Well, it says it has already installed, but for some reason it is unable to access it. So without, wasting any further time on this one, we'll fall back uh, to the plan B, which I have already created. So I'll connect to this one and we'll go through. Okay, so we are now connected to RemoteDev, and we'll see what we do with that. On this particular one, if so, since I have already installed, most of the part for this, so I have run this Docker Compose command. If we go and check, what is running there, so sudo Docker PS is for listing processes and -A is for listing all the processes, which whether they are running or not. So it has some processes running on it. One of them is uh, React application. One is Jenkins. One is Hello World. So we can stop these processes. Sudo stop. And if I run the process command again, I can see, but I can also see exited 3 seconds ago. So this one is stopped. Then I can remove another one, which is this Jenkins one. Again, if we see, we will see two of them have been deleted. We can sudo docker rm is for removing. We can remove them completely. All right, so we now have equivalent stage because I have deleted the existing processes from the Docker. So now we can see what do we have in the repository. I have a file called my Jenkins. Now we can create a new folder, or maybe we can remove the existing one, uh, rm-rf my Jenkins. So it will dash. Recursively delete. Sudo permissions or cannot remove permission denied. So we'll do super user permission rm-rf my Jenkins. Don't get stuck. All right, so that is deleted. Now we can create again. Let's call it my Jenkins. AD my Jenkins. Then we can do sudo nano. Nano is the editor, and docker compose dot YAML. I think it's YML or YAML. Let's find out. It's YML file. All right, and we'll copy paste the content again. I have explained it already, so we'll go directly and we will run this sudo docker compose up-t. So this file is now creating Jenkins, and it is done. This means our Jenkins is now running. How do we know if Jenkins is running or not? So to see this, we can see if Docker Compose show any logs for the Jenkins. To see this, we'll run this command again, sudo docker compose logs and Jenkins. Dash F is a flag to show if you want to see any live logs or not. So dash F, it will show you the live log. So this means our Jenkins is now running. Now we can go uh, to our IP and then go to port 8080 because that's where it is supposed to run. And we can kind of configure our Jenkins now. So if I go to, let me quickly grab the port. So we are using RemoteDev now. So this is the IP that we will be using. And then port 8080, I have already opened it. So this is after running the Jenkins, this is the UI. So we are on the step where we have to configure, run the Jenkins and configure the Jenkins. So we are able to run the Jenkins now, and now we have to configure the Jenkins. So by default, there has to be an initial admin password. And from where you are going to get this password, this is this particular value, which I copied from here when I saw the log. So when you run the Jenkins first time, it will print the code here, or it has also told me like if you close it and you do not copy this password, you can go to this path and you can take it from this particular file. So we will kind of, okay, there are a lot of browser windows open. Continue. We'll go with suggested plugins only. It will take some time to get started with with downloading and installing all the plugins. So you can see the progress here, what is installed, what is not. So this is the part where we integrate. So meanwhile, this is installing. If you have any questions so far, you can ask. It will take probably 2-3 minutes or maybe more, depending on how fast it does. Anyone? Here we can give our username and password. This is the IP that we are using, so you can it has already picked the value, so we'll just use this one. Start using Jenkins. Jenkins is now ready and configured. So this is the UI. Now we have something where we can log out, and since you should know the username and password, and no one else can access it without your permission. So keep the password secure, because this is going to be the entry point for your uh, your deployment environment. So now we have installed the Jenkins. Let's see where we are in this part. So we have completed the part one for this session. We have installed Docker. We have created a sample application. We have created a Docker compose file. We have successfully run the Jenkins based on this Docker compose file. And from after seeing the running the Jenkins, we have also configured the Jenkins. Now, one thing we have not done yet, we have not pushed our application onto the GitHub. We mentioned these steps into the document. So if you go back and when you create your on step 2, if you create your application, it has also given instructions to push your code to the GitHub. And let's go through this step right now. I will go to my GitHub account, and then I will create a new repository, brand new repository for this one. Let's call it CI/CD with Jenkins. This is available. Let's make a private one. Okay, and we can use these commands and also these commands have been also mentioned here. So git remote add origin. You can use this command as well. And we can open terminal where we created CI/CD Jenkins code. So we don't need to git init, because that is already initialized when this project was created. And after this, we can create this second command, and then git push -u origin main. After doing this, if I refresh here, we can see the code has been pushed onto the main branch. Now, this completes the part one. Let's move on quickly. So the part two, building and testing, it has like again, sorry. Um, so now the second part, which is a continuous integration, which is building and testing. It has three parts: create the Jenkins files, create the Jenkins pipeline job, and we'll run it. So we'll quickly go through it. So this Jenkins file we have to create in our code of the application, which will go to the. So I will go to my code where we have CI/CD pipeline. Let's create a Jenkins file here. Capital J, call it Jenkins file. And inside this file, we have to paste the content we need for the Jenkins file. So I'm copying it from here. I'll explain it shortly what this particular code is doing. So it will ask Docker to create a container which will run the node, because to run the React application, we require node and npm install. So this Jenkins file will instruct the Docker, which we already installed on our server. It will tell Docker to launch this particular image in a container and call this stage a building and testing stage, and what steps it will perform while it will run this repository. It will say npm install, which we need to install these node modules onto the server because they are not in the Git repository. If I go to the Git repository, and you can see we do not have node modules folder here because in the git ignore uh, we have not included the node modules to push onto the GitHub. And then once this node modules is available after this npm install, it will run npm test. So any test cases that you have run in your application, setup test, you can kind of use jest library to write any test cases for your application. And there is then you can use files like app.test.js. This is a simple test case which checks renders learn React app. So this one basically check if our application is running or not. So you can then test your application, and then you can write as many test cases as you want, so that when you deploy it, if any test case fails, it will stop the process right there and it won't deploy a faulty application onto their server. But once all the set tests are successfully completed, then it will create a build. So this is our building and testing phase, and we call it continuous integration. So what will happen? You have written some code and you have pushed this code to your GitHub. Now, in continuous integration, it will automatically install the new packages. It will test this new code and it will create a build, which can be which would be a production ready build for this. Now let's see if we can do this. So we'll add this file, git commit -m. We'll write a message for the commit created Jenkins file and git push. All right. So we have created a Jenkins file, which is again was the first step. The second is create a Jenkins pipeline job. So now we need to tell our Jenkins that based on this Jenkins file, you can start our process. To do so, we can go to the document again. We have committed the code, and the step one is to create the Jenkins pipeline job. So for that, we have to go to the Jenkins repository, which we created. Now here you can create on new item. You can name this CI/CD pipeline, or whatever you can name it based on your project. Your project can be anything. So since we are using CI/CD, so let's name it CI/CD. And then you can click on pipeline and then click OK. Now you can pipeline script. We are going to use pipeline script from SCM. SCM means um, uh, a source code manager, and source code manager in our case is a GitHub. So we will use Git for now, and we'll provide the URL of our repository. If we go here, we can find that URL of our repository. So you can get the SSH one. Copy URL. And then you also have to create some credentials. Since we do not have any credentials at the moment, to create this credentials, we'll use Jenkins credentials provider. And username and password, this is the option that we are going to use. The default one is all right. We can use, depends, which user you are using. So I have a user that we can use for this particular. So this should be the username of your GitHub account. And for the password, you have to create a personal access token. And how to create that personal access token, I can explain if you are on your GitHub account. Since this is RemoteDev-UK, so I have provided RemoteDev-UK. And if you go to your settings, in your settings, you will find developer settings. This is the last option. And here you can create personal access token. And you can create a token classic. And click generate new token again, select the second option, which is generate new token, classic option. So let me just verify my account quickly. 1046-341. It's a part of two-factor authentication because this is sensitive. It is equivalent to my password. So I can name it Jenkins key or anything, and I have to provide it some uh, permissions. For example, it should have permission to read my repositories. So that permission I have. Okay, Jenkins key. So it has created this token, uh, which expires on Friday, August 2025, which is 1 week from now. And if since this key is now compromised because every one of you have seen it, because I will delete it once this tutorial is over, but it will expire automatically. But if you want to create for a longer term, before you create a key, it gives you an option to set the time limit for this. So I have set it to 1 week, so we'll use it for now, but since it's already compromised, we have to delete it later on. But let's go to our Jenkins UI and provide this password here. What we have to provide in this ID, unique internal ID for this credential. Let's name it uh, tutorial. Don't need to add description. Don't need to save this one. And now since we can have created one key, so it is available. And then we have to change branch from master to main because that is the branch we have at the moment. And I think everything looks good to me. We will save and try build now and see if we have any error. So now I have, manually run this. We have run into an error already, and we'll see what this particular error is. So it has started by user. It has post key for verification has failed. So it says the key that we have added is not accepted by our GitHub account. So what we will do, we will go to CI/CD, we'll open the configurations again, and we will see why it is not accepting this particular key. And for that matter, we can create another. Okay, set another key. Okay, let's see the document. If we miss is the Jenkins new item pipeline definition SCM Git repository URL. Paste your GitHub repository URL, the Git one credentials. Okay, probably this can be the issue. Okay, dot git. So we basically copied the SSH one. We needed to copy the HTTPS one. I hope I'm right. So instead of creating new, can we edit this one? I don't think we can. Okay, let's create a new one. Username, password, username is RemoteDev. Now we have lost the password, but we can create it again. Or we can just go and change this URL because the password is already attached here. All right, the error has gone now. I will save it. I will try to build it once more. And the second build has started, and we will see if there are any errors now. Okay, it has again run into obtain Jenkins file from Git. Okay, so now the Git is okay, but startup has failed because invalid agent type Docker specified must be any of uh, Docker image node Alpine 16. Really want. Okay, let me copy from here. Agent N. So I'll update this file, and this is instead of telling to launch node particular version, ask it to launch any available version. So I will just git add git commit dash l updated Jenkins file. So we have updated the code and try to build once more. Sorry for these errors which we are running because of some misconfigurations that we have done. Which, sorry, we did not save the code before, or we did. It's already there. Build any the phone control agent for each stage. That looks okay to me. Once more. No. Okay. What we can do here, I guess, Docker, sudo Docker, we can yes dash a. Let me start Jenkins. For some reason, it is not picking up the latest file. Should work. I think there is some issue in our configuration file, which I am unable to find because it looks okay to me. Pipeline, agent, Docker, all looks good to me. All braces are complete. Let me check those as well. Looks okay. All right. Looks like we need to get some help from AI. So let me just ask for some help from my AI copilot. Doesn't have the Docker plugin installed. All right. So we are missing a Docker plugin installed on Jenkins. Sorry for that. Okay. So install the plugin. We will go to manage Jenkins. And after Jenkins, we'll go to plugins. And we are supposed to have a plugin installed called Docker pipeline, I guess. Is it Docker pipeline? Yes, Docker pipeline. All right. So we will install Docker pipeline. So it will take some time because now Jenkins will restart. It may take like probably 5-6 minutes uh, to do that. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, you can ask me. And thanks to my AI friend, he has solved the problem and pointed us in the right direction. We have like wasted like 5-10 minutes on an error which should not be there.
Can we have this recording?
I'm not sure if this one is being recorded, but I will share the document so you won't need this recording because in the recording there is going to be a lot of talk. But in this document you will have everything point by point. So you will only need to run these commands to go through this, and 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 you will be you know done with this deployment. Yeah.
Can you please share the document?
Yeah, sure. At the end of the session, we'll share the document and the slide with you all. And also, if you want to, if you don't have access to Google Cloud or let's say AWS, or if you don't have any servers and you want to test your skills, we can kind of create an instance and create keys for you so that you can access it and try these concepts on your own. So we can manually restart Jenkins again if it has failed to restart automatically. All right. I hope we do have this plugin installed now. And let me run this once more. And hopefully we won't run into this error again. Okay. The, that error has gone, but we may run into a different error depending on where we are. So as you can see, it has fetched my GitHub repository from this link. It has now created a folder where it is going to, copy this code. And after copying this code, it has run these commands npm install. And now the npm install command is running. If we go to the compose file again, this one, so here we can see we have, sorry, file. So we have different stages, like it will create a node environment for us. It will have, it will do the build and test. First, it will do npm install, then npm test, then npm run build. And here we can see npm install has done. Then it has also done npm tests are, and now it is running npm run build, which is optimized. So now these are the part where it has automatically downloaded the code from Git, ran all the tests, and created a build successfully, and the test is now finished without any error. Let's go to this and see if we can. The next step is we created the Jenkins pipeline job, and we are able to run it now. So this is the second part, which ends here. We can see in Go document if we have skipped any part for this or not. We'll start build and test clean Docker container. All right, we can go to the part 3 now, which is again we'll create a Docker file for the application, then update the Jenkins file for the deployment, and then set up the GitHub webhook. And finally, we'll see, the application will be running and we'll be able to access from anywhere. So we'll create a Docker file. And this Docker file we have to create in our code. So you won't create Docker file on the server. You create this Docker file on your local machine. So you will go to your code and you will create a Docker file in your root directory where your Jenkins file is. You call it Docker file. Let me confirm the name. Docker file, yes. So let me explain this code to you again. In the Jenkins, we'll keep, we won't have to tell him which container we want, because we have created a Docker file. Now it will take care of which node version we want to run. So we have node 16 Alpine. Working directory is /app. It will copy the package JSON, then it will run npm install, then it will copy the directory, and then it will run npm build. And from here, it will copy the npm build into nginx HTML repository, because once so this if you have all those who attended the last session, they know how we leveraged nginx for the reverse proxy. So we have now added these settings into the Docker file itself. So this part is building the React application, and this part is for serving the application from HTML folder, which will be the build folder of React application. So we'll copy the build folder from app/build, because our application in the app folder. So let me run this build command for you so that you know. npm run build. When we run this build command, what will happen? It will create a build folder. So our application in the app, inside the app, there will be a build folder, just like I have created now. And this build folder will be copied into user/share/nginx/html, because nginx/html is the path that will be exposed at port 80. Okay, So we have created this file. Let push it to the server. Git commit dash m. So before we push it, we can also upgrade our Jenkins file that is going to take the part of continuous uh, deployment as well. So let's copy the rest of this part, the stage where we deploy this application. So I can copy the full file and give it to, and I need to add this file again because I have just added it. So this code is now staged. Git commit dash m docker file, get it, and Jenkins file update. We can do a git push. So we have created a Docker file, and it has like two stages now. Stage one is for the building. Stage two is for the deployment. And we have also updated our Jenkins file. And the third step would be to set up a Git webhook. Now, when we push our code uh, onto Git, this Jenkins won't know if we have pushed a new code or not. So if I have to run this application, I have to run it manually. For example, I will go here, CI/CD, and I will run this from build now. What it will do, it will go and get the latest code. After getting the latest code, it will build it. After building the code, it will first install all the packages. Then it will run all the test cases. After that, it will build the project. After building the project, it will copy into the directory of Nginx, and it will start serving. And that's about it. But to avoid this manual step where we are running this build config now, we need to tell our GitHub to tell it automatically. So when I do git push, it would automatically connect with Jenkins and ask it to run this command automatically. To do that, we have to go to our project settings, which is CI/CD Jenkins, click settings, and here we have an option called webhooks. And since we have not added any webhooks at the moment, so we will tell it where our Jenkins is running. So our Jenkins is running at this particular IP, and there is a path which Jenkins provides for listening all these requests from the GitHub. You can find it from this document. It's called GitHub slash hyphen webhook. So HTTP, your server IP, port 8080, and GitHub webhook should be the path that should be given into this webhook property. So we have now HTTP, this is the IP, port 80 where our Jenkins application is running, port 8080. And then this is the path which listens for these commands. And don't forget to put this trailing slash at the end because this is important. And also we'll change it from to JSON, application JSON. We don't need to put any secret. Otherwise, we have to configure the Jenkins as well to provide this secret as well. Let's just create this webhook. And this webhook is now, this hook has never been triggered. Let's see if this hook can be triggered successfully if I update the code now. All right. So what I will do, I will make any change in this code. Let's say in the app.js, I will say code pipeline test. Now, if I do git add, git commit dash m and edit code app.js, git push. When I do git push, it should trigger this particular URL, and it will tell us if this has been triggered or not. So it says the last delivery was successful. It has successfully triggered, which means now when I push my code, it automatically tells my Jenkins to start the build process. So you see, it has automatically started 1614, 1618. Sorry, this is the previous one or the current one. I'm not entirely sure with this one. Let's see. I think it is running the previous one. If that is the case, it will create another pipeline for the new one after this one. Anyhow, we have created a webhook. Let's go to the next step while it is taking care of the build application. So we have added the webhook, and let's just see, once this build has completed, we will do another push and everything should work fine. So it is on the step 5 of 10 where it is copying this. So I can exactly tell you where we are at the moment. If we go to the Docker file, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, and fifth command is the copy file. This is where we are at the moment. 5 of 10, copy dot command. So after this, it will run npm run build, and these commands won't take much time. All right, let's just wait now. Meanwhile, if you want to ask any questions, you can ask questions. We are pretty much done. We are a bit late, but it was for we aimed for finishing before 5:30, but during question and answers, we may go slightly beyond 5:30. Still, we ran into some problems, but while you are doing live demos, there are always, problems. So that is why people like to do some recordings instead of doing everything live. So while you are doing live, as I told you before, sometimes things don't work the way they should supposed to work, and you run into some errors, and we did, but we were able to overcome those errors, and that was a learning lesson for everyone. Any questions? So let's go to this one. We created a Docker file. We updated the Jenkins file deployment. We set up a GitHub webhook. The final test, this is where magic happens. So once this file is done, I will demonstrate how automatically it will work. So the code has finished in failure for some reason, and we will see what has gone wrong. So successfully built, reacted the app latest, error true, top, error response from no such container, React Live app. Okay, 3000. Failed setup container delivering failed from external connectivity or endpoint. Let's see if something is already running on port 80 or port 3000. So we'll take our IP and go to port 3000. Okay, so an application is already running on port 3000. Let's see in our code which port we are using here. So 3000, port 3000. I can change it to 4200. I think 4200 port is also open, so we'll be able to run this. Let me see if something is running on port 4200 already or not, so that we can into this. Okay, this one seems to be available. Now, ideally, when I do this git push, which I'm not going to do, just to demonstrate, let me bring uh, this here. So two things should happen. Now, as we can see, no build is running. Everything which was supposed to run, it has completed. And also, we have already tested the GitHub webhook, which runs successfully. So if I do git push now, first, the GitHub should again say that it pushed successfully. If I refresh it, it should say last delivery was successful. Okay, this means GitHub has, through this webhook, has told it this URL that we have a new build available. And now, if we go to Jenkins, it must have received this trigger. Okay, I think we have missed a step for this. Oh, let's go to the file where I have created this. Before final test, after creating a webhook. Okay, so this is the step which I have uh, missed. It is under the build triggers. I have to check GitHub hook trigger for Git SCM polling. All right, no issues. I can go to my browser, and in the configurations for CI/CD, under the build triggers, I have to check GitHub hook trigger for Git SCM. I will save it. I will wait here now, and I will push code once more. Test automated. CI/CD pipeline automatic. All right. So we'll do all the checks once again. We'll check the webhook. Last delivery was successful. Now we will go to, so you can see it has automatically started the build process now. So if this remains successful, we will be able to see the application deployed automatically. But this process, since building this application takes some time, as we know, so we may have to wait till it is done. But as you can now see, I have just made some changes into my code and I pushed it to GitHub, and GitHub automatically told Jenkins that we have a new build available. And after that, Jenkins automatically started this build process. This time I did not click this build now button. It has automatically started it. And if every process, like if there is no error in our code, if there is no error in our Docker file, if there is no errors in our Jenkins file, everything should go smooth and it should be deployed. And if you run into some errors, that is again, and it also shows our commit message, which is updated, which was the latest one, which we did here. So as you can see, this has pulled the latest code as well. So if it runs into any errors, you don't have to worry about it because that's a safety measure. Because if there are any errors, it won't push the faulty code to the production version. So that's kind of expected behavior from this to stop the build if there are any errors. So far, so good. We are at step 5 of 10 at the Docker file. The build process is completed. This is the last attempt. I think uh, this should work fine. If not, we'll stop this session here because we have successfully integrated the CI/CD. Now there can be some issues with our application. That's why that is not running. But as you can see, I have demonstrated how to how to provide how to set up webhook into GitHub, and how to set up Docker, how to set up Jenkins, and how to create a pipeline into Jenkins, and how to automate this overall process so that when you push your code, it will go to GitHub. GitHub will tell Jenkins that new copy is available, and then Jenkins will start building this code automatically. Now, once you have spent like 2-3 hours only once at the start of a project, you will save countless hours. For example, if a project lasts for, let's say, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, then you will save a lot of time for that you waste on deployments once you have automated this step. So by spending 1 or 2 hours learning this skill in your life, you will. So I think all the process has gone through success. So in your life, you will save maybe, let's say, 10 days. So, and that would be a lot of time. So by learning this, you will save a lot of time for yourself. As you can see, our application now automatically running it. And now this tutorial is completed. So we have from writing code onto Visual Studio Code and pushing it to the GitHub. You don't have to do anything. Everything would be automatically pushed if there are no errors into this one. Just for a final one, I will do finished git add git commit -m tutorial finished git push. So I will leave this now and I won't change anything. And while we are doing question answers, everything would be running fine. And after some time, we will able to see finished with this text. Of course, it will take some time to uh, create the new build, which is the build number 10. So we saw the build number 9 was successfully done. And we can see here that build number 10 has automatically started after pushing the code, and it will be available after the build process has completed. Okay, so now I can take questions quickly. We are 4 minutes oh, already in delay. So if you have any questions, you can raise your hands. And this is the compose version. Thank you for the uh, suggestions. Would you listen? Thank you, man. Saying I'm a studio, you studio. Yeah, I think there are people who are, already doing a lot of development. Thank you for the support. So if any one of you have any questions, this is the right time to ask those questions. If anyone have any uh, confusions or any step which did not make any sense, I can go through the code or file and explain those steps. If not, just give a thumbs up and we'll be done then. All right. So apart from this, if you like this session, definitely we'll share a feedback form with you where you can kind of give a rating like what I this was the first session that I have given on a public platform. Mostly we have been doing this internally, but this was the first one. Of course, there is a lot to learn for me. I'm not a very good speaker, but I would try to, based on your feedback, I would try to improve things so that we don't waste a lot of time, so that we can, finish quickly. If this was very a longer period, because 90 minutes, then we can, shorten it next time, or maybe we can divide into different parts so that it is easy for everyone. So we'll uh, share those feedback forms with you, and you can kind of then let us know your feedback. And if you want your another session, you can basically let us know on that as well. We will also be announcing, what would be the next session about. so that all right.
Uh,
Yes, I can hear.
can you please share the document so that we can learn from that as well?
All right. Sharing the document as we speak. Sorry. Anyone with the link can access this. Uh, Let me create a PDF and then share this document so that no one can edit this. And also, for now, I need to make some changes. You see, during the tutorial, there was a part missing where we had to install the a Docker plugin into Jenkins. And let me add that detail into the document, and then I will share it with you. Make sense?
Sure, sure.
All right. Don't worry. We do have the emails of each participant who registered through the uh, through Luma. I think we can reach out to you with the feedback form and also with the link. So don't worry about it. But in any case, I'll create a PDF file and ask Mudasar to share with everyone also. Anything else? All right. See you next time, guys. Thank you for staying with me. Bye.